India, at least, we have a kind of complicated idea about home or who we think belongs at home. There are many people we consider outsiders, people that we don't want to remove because we don't consider them part of us. So the idea of home is always a contested idea. It's a complicated idea. So every time we evoke this idea of the ideal home, we are confronted with that complication as to whose home we are discussing. So I was actually wondering whether that was one of the questions that you, especially in Israel, I assume that is also one of the things that you as a country are kind of writing and very much part of the history. So I was wondering whether that is something that was part of your, I mean, in the sense, how are you kind of dealing with that?
Well, I don't think that I ever thought about it. I must be, frankly, because what really I was engaged as an architect, I would say, is how you these days create a place that one feels at home. I mean, and it's, you know, I don't think, of course, yeah, of course that, you know, memories and question is, I mean, the question is, you know, it's not even if you are the owner of the home or, you know, but it's really any environment. I mean, even, I don't know, a bench that you're sitting in the garden should have, you know, this feeling of home. I mean, this spirit that I'm talking about. So this is what actually, you know, I was trying to talk about in the film, and I was engaged as an architect. I mean, all the other factors we have no control on, you know, but let me tell you something, maybe it will clarify. You see, the thing is that what I'm talking about really are the patterns that really generate this feeling of home, that, as you mentioned, you know, it's all very clarified in the pattern language of Alexander, etc. But now the thing is, it's not only that, you know, places are generated, places that, you know, we feel good in and you know, have a pleasant feeling, are generated by patterns, but how come different people from different cultures, and this is a bit touching your question, experience places in a very similar way? You see, I took, you know, Chinese people or Indian people to a synagogue in Israel, for instance, that, you know, they don't belong to this culture, they've never been here, you know, they don't have grandmother nearby, nothing. But, you know, it really, you know, it really made them emotionally feel amazing. And if I go to, I don't know, Hindi temple in India or Buddhist temple in, I don't know where, I don't belong to this culture or religion, I have this very deep emotional feeling, because the hypothesis is that these patterns that are generating these places or this feeling of a place is actually a mirror of patterns which are printed in our mind from the outset, which means, you know, like there is in linguistic, there is Noam Chomsky who was talking in the spoken language about patterns, like how come we learn different languages and all of this, because there is something which is more, you know, printed in our mind. So this is the hypothesis again here, that there are patterns which are really from the outset, and this is why it is common to us all as human beings, regardless if, you know, if we are from India, from Israel, Buddhist, Christians, or Jews, it doesn't matter. So, and specifically, you know, as an architect, let's say, you know, this is what I was engaged with. I mean, how you create these places that people feel it. And really, I mean, you know, people feel in a very similar way, you know, a place which, you know, it doesn't actually have to, you know, that they actually belong to or they were born in, etc. Of course, it plays a role, but this is subjective, okay? I mean, but I'm more interested in the sort of universal objective factors, because of course there is also in this game subjective ones, you know, because it reminds you your grandmother, this, that, of course. But there are things which are underlying this. I mean, it's much more deeper than that. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I was trying to say. Thank you.
Anyone else has more questions? Can go ahead and ask.
You know, when I was screening my film in Mumbai in the festival, somebody came to me and said, you know, your film really reminds me the village that I was born and my grandmother lives there near Mumbai. So you see, I mean, the association he had were, you know, about the same, and he lives near Mumbai. This explains everything.
Thank you so much for this amazing movie. And
Now, I think that what would be really beneficial is if you want to learn more about, you know, all these issues. Of course, I couldn't say it in the film, that, you know, when you get the book to the library, I think it will really be very clear to you also about, you know, the more theoretical stuff, but then how actually, in terms of the patterns, in terms of the methodology, working on the site, and all of this, you know, can help you even, you know, in doing your projects.
Yes, that will be wonderful, Nili. We've already put in a request for the book, so we should have it soon.